how's that like balance out in a team fight?
It's not fun, you know, for the Fafnir, of course. Your stuns getting cleansed is annoying, the movement speed, but Amaterasu's going to bring plenty of that as well. And if you have a Fafnir Ama comp, you don't have to worry too much about the fight. The objective pressure is where you're getting ahead anyways, so just get your ward vision down, and show up to Gold Fury, show up to Fire Giant, and then just big coerce. Guess what? The Fire Giant's gone. You know, you don't have to worry too much about the fight, because you can just fight once you're ahead. You don't have to take even fights.
Well, we'll find out how exactly this is going to shake out. Relatively squishy for the Kings, and it'd be nice to end on a win. We'll find out in Game 1 with JMac and Inbound.
Exactly what happened. SOT's already blinked to the lane. Already had the beats from Variety as well. I mean, that's a easy now dash target for Panatom. That silence can get in a tremendous amount of value. The problem is now that Sat's used all of that to poke Variety. Doesn't have anything for the wave clear.
Yeah, worth for the beads though, even if he is going to lose a little bit of the wave. The positive with going DEATH'S TOLL Ravana is you're going to have a ton of shields from your passive, you're also going to have a ton of healing from your 3, and then on top of that you also have the DEATH'S TOLL healing. So I expect Solo to almost always kind of be full health, SoloOrTroll to almost always be full health. Also, another thing I want to touch on, because we haven't really seen much of it, this Hell support. This is a character where she kind of dominated phase 1. Good autos. Wait.
Nice.
Okay, if that one came back up, it would have been really close. But Hell support dominated phase 1. It was that Aphrodite dictated the entire meta. I'm talking first pick, first ban. It fell off a little bit. It got a few nerfs. Well, at this point,
hide away, Variety. He's got the shots. That's first blood to the Kings, but Panatom is right around the corner. Dash in, shield damage, turnaround 1-for-1 trade for the teams. And now Panatom, no beads. Captain Twig can chase this one out. Dash still down for 6 seconds, and no cooldowns for Captain Twig. Solo for Variety, but a good turnaround for Panatom.
He was just baiting, right? He knew he was dead there, just trying to bait him in, take that 1-for-1. Good first blood, good autos there by Variety. A little bit of auto trades in duo also, but this Hell, I'm interested to see what the build looks like. Are we going to see that aura build that we saw in phase 1? Are we going to see more of a cooldown build around that breastplate? Kind of what made Twig go back to this Hell, because she did eat a lot of nerfs. She is a heavily nerfed character from that first phase, and she's playing into a pretty difficult matchup because she is the main frontliner. There's really no other frontliner with her. That's what happens when you have to engage in solo. But she's going for that low nose, so she's going for at least a little bit of tankiness with the low nose, with the Thebes. But curious where she goes, what direction she goes with the rest of the build.
Is that 4 gooseberries I see on the side of the Oni Warriors bracket? Well, as long as that ability is up, probably just imagine that or the ultimate to immune Variety. SoloOrTroll blinks in, gets the root once more in a slow. Good poke against Variety. Captain Twig not nearby to be able to try and help punish that. Speed still down for 18 seconds. Panatom is there though. Dash is good. Ultimate available. Needs all 3 swipes for the stun. Will land it. But SOT's a little far behind. Does get the root right around the corner. And the 10-hand Shadow Fist is good. SOT able to pick up the kill for the Warriors.
And a lot of pressure being put out onto Variety already. 2 kills in that lane onto Variety. But we've seen this story before. We've seen Variety taking Dash actually jumping in duo.
Yark still trying to fight in. Axe toss hits Genetics though. And that's a tanky Fafnir, not really concerned with the damage from the Uller just yet. But duo pressure has been going a bit over to the Camelot Kings, maybe some of that from the healing that you have to deal with Hell. Not only healing to ally gods, but keeping those minions alive, making it a little bit tougher for Netroid and Genetics to be able to clear out those minion waves. Plays into a bit of that annoyance factor that Hell had, as you mentioned earlier on here. Able to secure the shield buff is the Oni Warriors. And I think even just watching the progression of the Hell this game, because I think the build, as you mentioned, probably the most important thing to weigh in on, but also just seeing if maybe any damage gets prioritized on the God.
Or the healing bolstering rods, the Asclepius, Last Gasp, because when we saw this Hell, usually it was like that full damage aura build, but towards the beginning of the first phase, you'd have players like Mike go for that Last Gasp. I liked going for Asclepius some games if I felt like I was in a comfortable spot. So there is a lot up in the air with what he can do, because Hell as a character is very open with how you can play her. You can play her as kind of a healing bot, you can play her as a little bit more of a damage-oriented support. So a lot of it is up to just how Quig intends to play her and how he wants to play her. little bit of trading, but I also think a little bit should be said about this med in, actually another, he dashes in.
Ultimate from Captain Twig. Follow up against Pagon. No, it's on top of Panatom. Pagon standing by. Just free casting on the Chernobog. Not concerned with the action to be had around his beacon. That is an ultimate from Captain Twig and BMT in trade for ults of Panatom and Pagon. But Panatom's going to keep the chase up. SOT couldn't spot out Captain Twig, but now they got vision on without an ultimate. Captain Twig can't close gap or can't get away, I should say. It's a dunk in by San. Goes down for first blood in the game and still has overhead kick for Variety after. Go ahead and try and steal blue, but Variety with the Kraken guarantees the buff. Nearly could have been in danger had any other damage connected to him.
A lot of scuffling going on already in this game, trying to establish slight leads everywhere, ultimates getting traded. But so far, SoloOrTroll kind of coming out on top with a lot of these. And I think Robin, as a character, is one of the most imposing characters from ahead. A Robin who can just kind of blink on you, not worried about your damage, is a really scary Robin. So I'm also wondering kind of, you know, SoloOrTroll's played this Robin, we've not seen it a ton. What kind of build does he opt for? Is he going to go for that Onis? Actually, a lot of damage on the Pagon in mid, beads forced, no follow-up. Twig also getting very low. A little bit of trading out there, beads forced onto Pagon. Twig also does get out. But curious for the build that Solo kind of opts for. Does he go for that Onis, that mitigation style build? Is he going to go for maybe a more damage-oriented build with a Soul Eater into a Jotuns? Curious how a couple of these different, you know, gods are going to be built.
Because really when Robin was meta, you know, we look back at like the first bump up of the Robin solo meta in recent times. It was when Sigil was really good. You go Sigils, Mask, just full mitigation and defense. You never die. You don't do an insane amount of damage, but they also can't do anything to you. You're shieldless forever. Then Mask got changed over to be a starter item, so we saw a little less of him. Still saw some. Variety can't catch a break. Overhead kick gets away from Kraken. Pagon there. Panatom just there because why not? A third death now onto the solo laner of the Camelot Kings. Oni Wars and SOT, even despite that first blood drop, it's been all good for him since then.
Yeah, I mean, even on that first death, he got the return kill onto Panatom, so he got that assist. A part of every kill so far, same with Panatom.
What are you doing, Pagon?
Pagon. Oh, Solo's here too.
This is just bullying now. Root, slow, ultimate. Variety's dead at his Phoenix. That's just bullying at that point.
That is just disrespectful. A little bit of fighting over in duo. Ult's trading quick, still pretty healthy. Seems to be just a little bit of trading there. Panatom holds ult, Genetics holds ult. But all that time, because of what happened on that Phoenix, actually middle tower is going down. Big man gets it, hits the tower, and now that's actually a lot of pressure on the map that's forced onto the Warriors because they don't have that safety net in mid. They do have a very safe mid laner anyway, not like Chernobog that can threaten kill. Actually, Phoenix kills.
Panatom might just be able to solo me inside the house. His shield isn't big enough to keep him alive. Now Captain Twig's too scared to fight against it because Pagon is right around the corner. Even losing out on a tower is not enough to deter the Oni Warriors, and even with a tower standing, it's not enough to stop SOT. Blinks in to try and take that blue buff away. I think successful in stealing it. Now Variety down a buff, not safe in tier 1 tower at this point. It is a rough patch for Variety, especially because SOT doesn't care about defense. He's going for damage second slot.
Yeah, Solo's probably going for that Soul Eater Jotuns build, the one that we saw in jungle with the Pele sometimes. Yark looking for the axe, gets the axe.
Does land. Where's the rest of the abilities? Hits one. Molly misses after. Pagon's on the scene. Yarkor now got to run away, waiting for his jump to come off of cooldown. Waiting for a chance to be able to jump away. Does manage to get back because Genetics is waiting around the corner. I think a ward was able to spot Genetics out there, so Yarkor knew that had he stepped too far forward, there's still someone lurking in the jungle this time. It's just aggressive play by the Oni Warriors across the map.
And yeah, I mean, paying off too. They're getting kills everywhere they need to. A little bit of worry in duo. I think Yarkor's in a lot better spot than Netroid is, and it seems like he's out trading him pretty hard now too. But SoloOrTroll with the build actually taking a lot of damage in response. He's playing for like burst at this point, and Variety going for that tier 2 breastplate is not going to get bursted very easily, and then he also sustains up with the Vamp, the Pythags. I don't know if this is entirely... Unless you're getting a lead, I don't know entirely how well this Robin is actually going to work into this matchup because you have to be able to all in. If you can't all in, then Variety's just going to be sustaining the entire time.
Captain Twig lurking in the jungle. basic attack. Just a little too late from Variety to stop that from SOT. We'll go back, pick up the Jotun's Wrap, as mentioned before. So now we see if we actually see the full damage route of this Raven, or do we see a bit of defense pop in? Captain Twig staying active on the map, and I think that's important on this Ratatosker. Even going down the first time shouldn't be enough to stop you, to slow down. He's only 1 level down to Panatom, despite a 2-0-3 Amaterasu. Captain Twig's been holding his own in the jungle, only that 1 level down from Sub at 0-1. So I like to see that he's still willing to try and start some of these fights, and he's going to be needed maybe on this left side. Both junglers waiting inside the jungle to see if they can go for a fight. Instead, it might be a brawl over the shield buff for the time being. Panatom Destiny gets silent. Wow. That's half of Captain Twig's health. Meanwhile, Genetics and Netroid, they're just waiting by. They've got access to all their ultimates for this fight, and they might need them because now Pagon is here. Gets the dash out of Captain Twig. Beads as well, burned by the jungler. Camelot Kings can't stick around this buff.
And I think the slightly bigger deal at that is the full breastplate by Panatom versus just the tier 2 for Twig. More cooldowns, you also have more full protections. Twig just finishes out that breastplate. So it's something that means a lot in that 1v1 because it's just more cooldowns, so you're trading just easier, you're trading better, and then you also just have those extra protection advantages. And also at this point in the game, if you're the Warriors, you have to be really looking for these gold furies, these pyros in about 2-3 minutes on the pyro, but Gold Fury needs to be on your mind. You have such good burn. Alma, double auto attacker. A little bit of trading in duo. Two's done a lot of damage. Just the one hit. The one hits. The solo kill. Netroid onto Yarkor.
Not a common solo kill that you see is an Oleron against an Ullr. Typically you think Ullr's the one going for those solo matchups, but it gives the Oni Warriors a chance to take this Gold Fury. Quakes nearby. BMT on the way. Gold Fury still to 20%. Netroid's rotation in will guarantee the Gold Fury for the Oni Warriors, a 2,000 gold lead at that, plus the experience as well. Oni Warriors, even despite all these kills and that gold, not as far ahead as I would have expected.
Yeah, really not a big lead at all. I mean, especially after Gold Fury. I think we've seen the Dragons get kills like this also. They just can't really get leads. Slight little scuffle happening on Beacon. Expect the healing comp to actually SoloOrTroll here. Maybe a fight breaks out.
Jump in by Genetics. SOT roots out Captain Twig. Half of his health now gone from 2 abilities and an in-hand from Pagon. And how it's a standoff at the point. All 10 players on the map heading over this way. Yarkor coming back from respawn. Genetics immune to the Kraken with his own ultimate. Pushed back by the Tidal Wave, but now it's Captain Twig jumping it off the tree. Hits 2, but Genetics is fine. He's eating the entirety of the damage from Big Man Tinks. And Panatom dashed in for a good silence, but it's all the Camelot Kings backing away. Sustain. No beads available to him. The fight for the Beacon is still going the way of the Warriors, but the Kings are stepping back up.
And the sustain game seems to be paying off. Genetics barely gets out healthy enough. Just like that, the Hell, the meditation is enough to win it. And with that tier 1 breastplate on the Hell, I think we see the type of style she's going for. That full cooldown build, wants to be spamming as much as possible. And that's how we expect fights to play out if the Kings are winning it, at least until late game. Other than the Kraken. Maybe we hit the Kraken, we don't let the Fafnir immune all of it, but that's essentially how we want to see fights to happen. We want to see trades, don't die, the Kings back up the heal, and on the other side, the Warriors trades, and then you want to be able to all in to not allow the enemy team to heal. And actually, 13-minute Fire Giant with the back here in the Alma.
This isn't even a staggering lead for the Warriors. It's just a power move by them. Your Fire Giant down at half HP. Yark's on the way. Kraken's used by Variety. Didn't get much. It's all from Netroid in response. Variety is chased down, nearly taken down, but SOT still diving into the back line. Takes down 1. Variety the first one down, but SOT traded in response. It's a 1-for-1 with Panatom still alive. Captain Twig's ultimate used, but doesn't get much value. It's just BMT swinging the fireballs right back through. And the Camelot Kings can resustain and keep going forward.
And with Pyro up, maybe no Fire Giant, but a slight trade-off, getting the 1-for-1 solo for solo. Pyro being pulled. Seems like maybe a possible contest here.
Panatom has the shield to try and steal, dashes in. Camelot Kings will get the Pyromancer, but such an awkward pull from the Oni Warriors. It's not like they had a huge lead. They're only up 2,000 gold at that point. Not like they had a huge man advantage either. All the Camelot Kings were back off of respawn.
Yeah, I think it's more so like they thought they had a huge man advantage there, but there was 4 sitting on that side of the map, and then there was 1 coming out of base. It's not like that is even a good sneak. It was the most obvious sneak we might have ever seen. and because of that, it's just a 1-for-1, and they actually end up losing the Pyro also. But still, a solid lead, and I like that they're open to pull that Fire Giant, even though I think we're both in agreement that maybe not the best pull we've ever seen. I like that they're looking to pull.
Tom stunned as soon as he dashes into lane. He'll be fine, at least for the time being. Fury's still down for about another minute before we see that one respawn back in. The Oni Warriors have a ton of pressure around these objectives. And maybe it's just a byproduct of the composition you have. You have a Fafnir, Amaterasu.
For sure.
Don't have a Frenzy just yet, but then you've also got double auto attacker and until now, full damage Raven. Maybe that was just the reason the Oni Warriors go for a pull like that.
Yeah, for sure that's the reason they look for it. They have really good burn, consistent damage. Maybe they're lacking a little bit in Secure. I actually think their Secure is putrid. It is horrible Secure. And then you look at the other side into the Kings, they've got Ullr 1-3, they've got Variety's Kraken. I mean, even Big Man's 1-2 is going to be more damage than just about anything that the Warriors have. Also on top of that, the sustain advantage is pretty heavily on the King side too with this Hell. So those pulls, which you usually just see Fafnir transforms, that you pull the Gold Fury, you slowly poke it down. If they come in too far, you look for the engage. The engage and kite away is very easy by the King's comp. It's very easy way to kite out, then to heal up, and then to re-engage after. So we're gonna have to see quick fights by the Warriors. And also, the Onk opted into by Panatom, not by Genetics. He goes into the Frenzy and Sprint.
Kraken by Variety. Pagon will take that dive into the tower. Needs a couple more in hands, but an Aegis from Variety keeps himself alive. But that's a 2-level difference between those players, and now with sights kind of led astray to the right side of the map, the Oni Warriors go over towards the Primal, but there's still 4 players on the Camelot Kings. Variety is just 1 guy, and you sent your global over to the right side and used his ultimate aggressively there, so now the Oni Warriors don't have much of a leg to stand on around this Primal Fury. Pagon though said, well, your Aegis is down this time, maybe I win the boxing match. Does again win the match. We'll send Variety back. He literally just got back from base and is now gonna have to go back again.
And Pagon is just huge right now. The Dev Gloves, the XE, the Fail Knot. You're not out trading him, especially if he has ult. But even if he has ult, Variety actually looks like he maybe wants to take this or just stop the back. Because you see Rat on that speed buff coming out of base, maybe a potential bait. And no, actually, Variety just wanted to get his blue buff.
I wanted to make sure he had a way to get to blue, but again, the Oni Warriors, the confidence in their objective play now nets them a Primal Fury. We're on the opposite side. So with that, Oni Warriors take 2 objectives in the Fury department. Still didn't get anything fire-wise. Saw that pull, didn't get much from it. Now we wait for the next beacon to jump on in. So now as we start to kind of hit the midpoint of the game, the lead isn't too staggering either direction. Again, only about 2,000 gold. Who has the stronger mid-game composition between these squads?
When you have a global ult like Chernobog, it really benefits how strong your mid-game is. Because you're able to split push. If somebody matches you, you ult towards the fight. However, when you have a healing comp also, that's another comp that's really excels in this mid portion of the game before there's a ton of anti-heal. I mean, you look at the Oni Warrior side, where's the anti-heal? It's just an Onk. That is literally all they have. So this sustain is going to be insane. What's going to win out? The global from this Chernobog or the sustain on the Hell side? Now, right now, I think the sustain is going to be heavily advantage.
Dash gets Panatom just far enough before the Whirlpool stops that one. Avoids the Kraken, so it's now 1 ult down for the Camelot Kings. No relics used in trade by the Oni Warriors. We do see them being the Oni Warriors being pushed out by the Camelot Kings because the Pyromancer is back on map. He buys on Netroid in these fights with these ultimates. Sanctified Field gonna get decent value up against the Camelot Kings, who have pulled the Pyromancer once more. SOT already a third of his health gone before he can get to the Pyromancer, and by the time he gets to the pit, it's already dropped on the floor.
And Solo wants to finish that Thebes before this next fight. Variety's still happy to play forward. This is a really positive thing that Variety does is, even though he's 1-5, if he knows that he can like kind of get away with something or play a little bit farther forward, he's not going to be worried about being 1-6. He doesn't care. All he cares about is that win, and it's something where some players kind of lose that confidence when they start getting deaths and they start, you know, maybe their KD doesn't look as good. Variety's not one of those players. He does not care about his KD. He just wants to win the game.
It's almost like exactly where he wants me. He's like, yeah, I got him right where I want him. I'm 1 and 5. They're not going to be expecting me to hit level 20 before anybody else on my team.
That's true. That's a Variety classic.
I don't know how Variety does it, but this man will go down like 1-3, 1-5 in the early game, and then he will just hit level 20 before his lane opponent. I mean, he's dead even right
Look
now.
at this. This is crazy.
I mean,
He's
he's not-
1-5 and he's even.
I mean, he won't hit 21st on his team unless like BMT just like kind of stops farming for a bit, but the fact that he might actually just hit 20 before SOT is criminal considering what we've been watching happen to Variety this game.
We've seen Variety getting bullied out even by Pegon. 5 strong by the Warriors in mid. Variety not here, should be pretty free, maybe a little bit of trading. They have that sustain advantage, so this is just still a win by the Kings, but looking like an all-in by the Warriors.
Genetics uses the coerce. Kraken only hits the dragon, but now it's a quick dash out by Captain Twig. Can't get to the sky. Net takes down one, and SOT drops Yarkor. Variety gets the pushback onto Pagon, but use the wall for safety. Quig might just get stunned down here by Panatom. It's good, but there's no follow-up, so Quig gets to live. 2 down on the King. Variety steps 2 feet too far forward, and Netroid and the squad punish him. A good stun by Genetics to set up for a 3-for-none trade.
And really just an overall great fight by the Warriors. They transform, they get this fight started quickly, and they try to end it quickly. They are getting low, and it looks like a small contest.
He's level 19, steal potential there. No ultimate for Big Man, and that's just a collapse instead. On to the Baba Yaga. BMT silenced out a dash, pinned against the wall, and punched down by Panatom. The Camelot Kings cannot catch a break in the fight. They lose out on the objective. It is fire on all 5 of the Warriors.
And that is like kind of this big advantage that we've finally seen. We've seen about a 1,000 gold lead, give or take, for most of this game. Now it's almost 4,000 with with Fire Giant in hand. Now you kind of have some sustain match against this Hell. You have that Fire Giant sustain, and you also have the split push potential of Pegon. Starter being finished by Genetics. Starter just finished by Quig also. Actually, can we, are we able to see if that Lonos gets the full value yet? I don't know if that's something we're able to see.
I'm not sure. I mean, we can take a look stats-wise and see what you would need. So you need 45 of each protection in order to start removing those stacks. And
So 225 for all of them. Probably not yet. So he's not getting that full Lonos value yet, but you look at the other side, Factor's got that full War Banner, which as soon as you finish it, it's just insane value. Movement speed, attack speed, and you hit the Fafnir hammer and Twig SOBs, he's dead.
One dead Ratatosker from the Oni Warriors. Netroid will split push over and left. Did opt to go for some defense himself. Breastplate of Determination online for Netroid on the Ol run. Will keep up the split push because the rest of the team can just work on tier 2 tower in a mid. Pagon helps knock that one down, and the Warriors will move their way over to the left side. Early transformation out of Genetics. That'll at least be able to net the tier 2 tower, but it will now get set up for the Phoenix. Frenzy pop. SOT the backline. An ultimate from Netroid just to guarantee the burn for themselves. And the Camelot Kings are all on the run. They're down their jungler, their soul layers at half HP, but SOT is able to walk out of this one. Might not be the same for Panatom. He gets stunned out by Yark. The door has been opened up for him to walk out, but Captain Twig might just sack his life. If he can guarantee one, but he misses the one that he had needed, gets the stun after the help of Yark. The Oni Warriors, they lose one, nearly 2. Pagon able to root out, but a quick beads by Yark makes sure that he picks up the double.
And 5-man group still, they have this Hell sustain going to be slowly chasing out. Solo looking to get a little bit of space. Net Genetics Solo all grouped right now. Sustain is enough. Beats forced by Variety and all in by Solo.
SoloOrTroll in the middle of 3. Yarkor's still there. It's a pincer maneuver by the Kings. They send 2 to the top, 3 to the bottom, but the 2 on top are losing to SOT. Quig is trying to do the best to sustain the team up. Kraken is online and hits Netroid. He gets his bees. Variety's not got enough damage, but Yark has plenty. That's 3 for him in the fight. Genetics over the wall, but Yark goes ready for it. A double-double for Yarkor. Netroid, the only one left alive now for the Oni Warriors. And against 4, he's got no chance for a kill, no chance for survival. Variety gets the last one and a delayed deicide for the Camelot Kings.
And Gold Fury up after getting that big wipe over on left side. They lose the one Phoenix, but on top of that, that's all they really lost. The unfortunate part is now you have fire spawning in about 2 minutes. Left Phoenix is down. Pegon is able to split that side of the map, and you have no true answer for him. Pegon is now level 20. 5 items finished. He went for that Atalanta's. So his 1v1 damage, his 1v1 potential is going to be absolutely insane. Will somebody be able to match him? Not at this point.
Pyromancer for the Kings. A nice little follow-up for them. Off losing not only Captain Twig, but their Phoenix afterwards. It is a good turnaround. So now the Camelot Kings have gotten much closer to evening out this game. Only about 2,000 between the two teams. Full builds starting to come online. Your core setting it up, point out to me. Double crit for the Uller. Not something we typically see out of Ullers. When I think of Uller, I think of Billy. Slam as many cooldowns as fast as possible. Your core going a bit of a different path this time.
Yeah, like pseudo auto attack kind of. I'm curious to see what he goes last. Is it going to be that Deathbringer, try to look for the one-shot potential? Will he go some sort of sustain so he has some auto attack trading potential? Because right now his build path is open. He could also even just go Crusher for just more, you know, ability damage like you were saying, because that's how I think about Uller too, that one-shot potential off an Axe, 3-1 follow-up, usually just an execute against somebody who does not have defense, but switching it up a little bit, maybe a little to do with that Demon Blade buff earlier this month? Or no, it was the end of last month. Changes it a little bit. With Titan pushing down right side. Maybe a little fight potential here, but I think we're probably just getting ready for this Fire Giant.
You might get your wish on the Deathbringer. Tier 2 now for Yarkor.
There it is.
On that item. So, while his abilities might not hit quite as hard, weaving in those enhanced, get an enhanced Hydra's Deathbringer proc onto somebody, you're looking at maybe 700 to 800 damage. Could get towards one of these squishier targets, but the fight around the Titans marching down brings out. SOT's already down at half HP. The Camelot Kings Titan, a bit worse for wear, only a couple hundred more HP before it gets knocked out. And we might see the only Warriors make a play elsewhere while Titan's pushing up. Pagon's gone back to base. He can fly in at any moment. They'll leave BMT to deal with the Titan, but it could be a group up now around this Fire Giant as the Warriors start to form up their formation around the objective.
And with Pagon just going back to base, finishes that Deathbringer. So now 6 items on Pagon on this Chernobog build. That one-shot potential is pretty insane. It's a nice looking wall. But that one-shot potential, that 1v1 potential by the Chernobog is through the roof.
Do you see the Phoenix respawn? Captain Twig will give up the defense for now because the only Warriors pushing in, cracking its genetics. That's half health on the Fafnir. Panatom gets the stun onto 2, but Captain Twig on the tree. His target might be towards Panatom. Gets the beads from the jungler, but Panatom's able to dash out. And a fast, sanctified field by Netroid keeps the Camelot Kings from pushing further forward. That was the frenzy and the sprint popped by genetics in that fight. It's now the Camelot Kings who can step up to fire.
So with Pagon ult up, they're actually going to be burning this. This is going to be a full-on fight here.
Fire Giant down to 25%. Genetics inside the pit. SOT nearby. Camelot Kings get the Fire Giants. They had 3 runic bombs to do so. Yarkor gets the stun on the SOT. Still half HP on the Uller. Genetics is low. And now it's Pagon and Panatom to try and get to the back line. Panatom is zoning out 3, but now he gets slowed down. The AUG has been used, but he's got nowhere to go. Big man Tings. Credit for the kill. The Camelot Kings get fire and a kill.
And we see how much sustain is actually on the side of this Camelot Kings comp. They only have that anti-heal in the form of the Brawlers and the Ankh. And a lot of the times, Solo's not going to be able to consistently proc that Brawlers. It's going to be blink in, hit them a couple times, and then slowly back up. And it's something that they can kind of just kite out, sustain up. I think that is kind of a problem that we're seeing with this Oni Warriors comp is just not enough anti-heal to deal with this hell.
I was gonna wonder what would happen with genetics inside him because he held on to that tier 2 breastplate. So I was thinking, do you go for the Spectral just because Yarkor's been going a lot of crit? Do you go towards Contagion because there's a lack of that anti-heal? But it will be the Spectral for genetics instead. I gotta say, I've been very impressed by the play from Quig this game on the Hell. Hasn't gone down just yet. 0-0-7 for him, but a part of all but 1 kill for his team. Primal Fury pulled by the Camelot Kings. Be able to drop that one, no problem. And we were wondering what Quig's build was going to be. It's a bit of cooldown, a bit of aura for his squad. What are the Oni Warriors thinking of doing? Seeing maybe if anybody walks outside of the base by themselves. There's 2 on the left side. They should know about this now. That left Phoenix did go back down once more because of the fight around fire. Didn't get protections. So it did fall once again. What are the Oni Warriors trying to plan? Who are they trying to fish for at this point? They spotted out Quig and Captain Twig. Speed's not available for the Ratatosker just yet. The cleanse is more than enough from Quig to keep the team alive.
Maybe they're looking for that middle Phoenix with how much auto attack damage they have and just this Fafnir with the Shoguns and the buff from his 2. Actually, Rat looking to go in.
Quig crash down onto 3. No relics burned yet. The Camelot Kings keep up their chase. Maybe not.
Frenzy.
A fast sprint by the Oni Warriors. That gets them out of danger, no problem. All the while, SOT wasn't a part of that fight. Camelot Kings maybe recognizing they had the man advantage. They will keep the fight going, but will push down tier 2 tower on the right-hand side. That one falls down. Then we're going to keep pushing up this Phoenix.
And Wave in left lane going to be pushing up somewhat soon. Opt to not play it too aggressively. They're looking to just probably get most of these towers down, also try to get that left Phoenix back up. This is still no EFG. This is just a regular FG. They have sustain. Play it slower. I like this.
Tier 2 in mid, under fire by Camelot Kings. Quarter HP on the tower. A couple more in-hands will do so, but not gonna fully commit to it just yet. Oni Warriors standing their ground. And Netroid's got an ultimate just in case a fight does manage to break out. Kraken hits Panatom, gets his beads and a fast dash out, and Pagon's lost half of his health to Yarkor and Big Man Tings, the damage dealers of the Camelot Kings, getting some hefty relics away from the Warriors.
And I was a little, worried about how this Wooler build is going to play out. But that damage that we just saw right there, that is near one-shot potential. Actually, SoloOrTroll kind of wrapping around. Maybe flank right here.
See him pushing in. Root hits Quig. Panatom nearby, but not going to quite have the follow-up. And in fact, speaking on the build from Yarkor, didn't go into what is the more traditional kind of Envenom Deathbringer. Does go for that Malicious, so some cooldown resets afforded Yarkor when he does weave those crits in and out. He's got plenty of crit chance now with the triple crit in last slots.
And this King's comp is kind of came full circle, because at this point, Hell is a tank. She has gotten past the early portion, the middle portion of the game, where she's not very, tanky. She's very easy to deal with. All she really is just a sustain bot. At this point, full Lonos, Thebes, Breastplate, Sov Lotus, and as you highlighted, this is almost both an Aura-esque build and a cooldown-esque build. Still got that last item. Can see kind of if he wants to go for maybe an Asclepius or a Last Gasp or some sort of other damage item. But so far, she's filling out that role of being that frontliner with this build. She's also got a lot of cooldown spam ability with how strong Breastplate is, so maybe something to be said there about how strong Hell's looking right now.
I think right now the big downfall is when you look over at the healing chart. Sure, Netro's bad 6,000 on the YOLO run. It's not an easy task to do in a game like this, but the 16,000 in response by Quig is really what's keeping the Camelot Kings alive. Because you look over, damage chart-wise, everything that Quig has healed has effectively nullified all of Panatom's damage, all of SOT's damage, or all and then some of another couple of players. It's really only Net and Pagon that haven't been voided out by this Hell just yet. Genetics jumps into 3, gets the hammer onto Yarkor, but takes a bit more damage than he was maybe thinking he would with that jump.
And the trade potential, as long as there's no all-in, the trade potential is actually blinking by Solo.
Half HP, Kraken does clip Genetics and Netroid. They're by field, but they're low. Captain Twig's in the middle, use the beads to dash out. Sot only has 100 HP, and Variety's gonna keep this chase on. Root is good. Whirlpool locks in Genetics. Captain Twig spins in, gets the stun. Genetics jumps out. He's still alive for the time being, but the Kings are healthy. They can keep this chase up, or they can turn back because they know that they can head straight to fire.
And actually, really good play by the Warriors. As long as the Kings don't burst this, but they're getting there so quickly. This should just be a burst angle. They got the Deathbringer, they got the crit. This should just be free Fire Drive for the Kings.
Pagon has ult if he wants to jump in. Genetics has this as well. It's Panatom first in the pit. The Kings get the enhanced Fire Giant, and now Pagon might just be a bit out of position. Ultimate for him either drops him back in place or takes him to an enemy. I may be surprised we didn't see the Kings go a little further forward. Instead, it's Fire Giant enhanced at that, plus a Pyromancer for the Kings.
And really great trade by the Kings there. Yes, they don't get kills, but they bully out enough that the Warriors are forced to reset, and it's a lot of them are forced to reset. It's just Pagon, just Panatom there, a 5v2. That's not a good contest point by the Warriors. They just don't have that frontliner there. It looks like the Warriors maybe want to contest this Oni Fury.
Fury low. Genetics jumps in again in the middle of 5. There's no turnaround back for him. Instead, it's on Captain Twig, who uses his speed. Panatom uses as well. Twig up to the sky. Kraken clips Netroid. This time, Variety is stuck inside the Sanctified Field. He used all of his relics to try and stay alive. Netroid goes down to Variety. It's Captain Twig still on the backline, and Yarkor pumping out damage from the Kings. Genetics still too far forward. 3rd HP on him. Variety, the new target, but Panda Thomas got to dash out. Big man Tings, he's all by himself, but Captain Twig's at the backup. In response, 2 down on the Warriors, making 3. It's a rampage for Yark, and a double kill for Yarkor. SOT is the only one alive, but it's a jump in and a good stun by Captain Twig to net the Kings yet another deicide.
Huge deicide right there by the Kings. They have the timing to also go down mid here. They have the Oni wave, and they've got enough damage to go for this end here. What an incredible fight to end it by the Kings. They kite out well enough. They get enough, you know, trading out, and then they just sustain up. And if you saw the end of that fight, Panatom did not use Onk until like the last second. That was such a small Onk and not impactful for that entire fight.
Such a back and forth fight. At any moment, felt like one team could have just pulled out a win. But again, it comes down to Quig, I think, on this hell, keeping the team alive, always sticking with the lowest health target member on his team, and keeping those heals up, gives the Camelot Kings a much-deserved win after a brutal early game from them.
And did that not give you Phase 1 Hell vibes? Like that exact game? Just
bit.
how it was played out. Not punished early game because she's too tanky. Not punished mid game, she just sustains too much. And then late game, both things collide together. Too tanky, too sustainy, and it's just impossible to win.